we will not use acetone.
And when was the last time that you processed that image, or like?
We did it Monday, I think.
Okay, so that's enough. I mean, I think you or the directions mentioned you might have to reprocess it after a while, like if you wait too long.
Yeah, too long would be like a year.
Oh, we're golden.
You mentioned that we tried to do
We don't have that much time.
Great.
You might have to reprocess yours.
Yeah, it's been forever.
Okay, so it's important in this stage that you try to remove all of the ink. However, not necessarily all of the grease, because you do want something to still protect the printing areas of the plate at this point. And that's why we are using lithotripsy rather than a different solvent. Right? Because what do we know about lithotripsy?
It's greasy.
Lithotripsy is a little bit greasy. Yeah, so it maintains those image areas. Maintains the grease inside those image areas. Alright, and once we have the majority of the ink removed, we will be replacing the ink with something else in order to attract the printing ink when we apply that to the plate. Have any idea what that might be?
Grease.
Right, so I'll just take some of this here and just slather it right on the plate, right?
That's gonna blend it.
Now, what will we add?
Water?
Water, right, because that would definitely maintain the areas that are to be receptive of ink, right? Water definitely is something that attracts ink, isn't this correct?
No.
No, no. What is it then?
Is it gonna matter though that the lithotripsy is on all of the plate now? Would you
No.
need to wipe it off at all?
No, it will not matter. Why is that?
Because of the gum?
Because of the gum, right. Once we activate the gum, then that grease that is on top of the gum will be washed away. Alright, so what do we replace the roll-up ink with?
Printing ink?
Eventually. Oh, come on. You just did this, right? How many of you have done the roll-up on the second etch? Alright, so maybe then that's right. Remember this stuff? Mine are rum.
Oh,
That's
good stuff. Yeah.
I thought we were gonna have our final party. Rum taco party. Dark rum.
Rum.
Blue sombreros.
Okay, so lithotripsy, again on the tip towel, and then some of this yummy stuff. Alright, and again, remember we're looking for a particular value. We want this not to be really dark brown, and neither do we want it to be really light brown. We want it to be a medium, something like that. Okay? And most important, one of the most important steps in preparation for applying the ink is that you make sure that the asphaltum is dry before you get the rest of the plate wet. This has to be dry. Okay? So then, while we're waiting for it to dry, I think it says in the directions 2 minutes. It usually takes a little bit longer than 2 minutes. If you're not sure, just touch it. make sure that it's dry. And if it's still not quite dry, maybe take another paper towel and just kind of dry it off a little bit. But while we're waiting for this to dry, we'll go ahead and get our inking area set up. Okay. This paper towel is to remove the excess asphaltum so that we can protect our sponges from getting dirty. All right? Now, this is really, really important. This is the number 2 thing that most people get wrong, and it destroys the entire process. And that is when you're about to apply ink to the plate for the very first time, you do not need to remove all of the asphaltum. It's okay to leave some on, even in the non-printing areas. Do this as quickly as possible, but remember not to roll the ink out really fast, because that does what? It removes ink from the plate rather than putting it down. Okay? So you'll have to excuse me if I don't tell any jokes over the next few minutes, because I want to do this quickly. Alright, it's important that we don't get the plate too wet in this process either. Okay, we can see the asphaltum starting to come up. Okay, dirty sponge. Clean sponge. Want to hand me the roller? Thank you. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Recharge for me, please. Quickly.
Do it.
All right, that's good. One, 2, 3, 4. Charge. Notice how I don't have a lot of water on the plate. It's mostly just damp, because you want to make sure that the water stops where the ink begins. And if you have too much water, then it overlaps some of the ink and doesn't allow it to stick to the plate with a lot of detail. Okay?
How many times do you roll over then?
You want to bring this up until it looks full. And remember how we can tell if you don't have enough ink on the plate?
Do you see any brown?
If you see a little bit of brown, right, that brown is the asphaltum showing through. Okay. And what is my speed for rolling?
Medium.
Medium speed. How much pressure am I using?
Hand pressure?
A little bit more than hand pressure. Okay, so we can stop at a point where I know I have enough ink on the plate so that I'm not in danger of the water and the gum getting into the printing areas and desensitizing them. And I want to check and make sure and see if do I indeed have enough ink, or do I still need to apply more. So I'm going to look really closely, and I remember this area here was problematic when I was doing this in the roll-up stage. It looks okay now. Everything looks okay now. You know, at first I was concerned about these spots. You see these spots in here everywhere? At first I thought, oh no, there's a lot of scumming happening in this plate. But then I remembered that that's not scumming. What is that?
Spray paint?
Yeah, that was that spray paint that we shot on the plate. Okay? I do have a little bit of scumming out here in the borders. I'm going to try to make sure that I get rid of that. But otherwise, I'm ready. I'm ready to do my first proof. Okay? My